Hello, everyone. Welcome to another backstage interview from the Metals Investor Forum. I'm here with Charles Funk. You may know Charles from more than one role, I would say. He has been at the Metals Investor Forum over the last year and some with Vizsla, which is obviously a very exciting silver exploration and discovery story down in Mexico. And Charles is the VP of Exploration there. But we're actually not talking to Charles about Vizsla today. We're talking to him about Heliostar. So Charles, that's actually how I'm going to phrase my first question. You are the VPX for one of the most exciting silver discoveries that's sort of going right now with Vizsla's Panuco project down in Mexico. And yet a few months ago, you surprised me with a phone call saying, by the way, I am also going to find time to take over this other company and turn it into this new venture called Heliostar. So take me through your thought process there. I mean, geologists dream of one discovery like Panuco. What is it about this Heliostar opportunity that pulled you in?
Yeah, thanks for having me. You can certainly say when it rains it pours. It's been an incredible few months. You're right. You look as a geologist, you look for projects where you can make discoveries, and then putting your business hat on, you look for where you can monetize those. And so when I left Evrim, which is coming up 2 years ago now, the plan was to go and build a company. And I knew Mike and Craig at Vizsla extremely well, and they've wanted to work together for a long time. And we worked out that in the early stages, you could do that in parallel. So I kind of joked with Vizsla with the 2-year option that we would be a success and then move to the resource stage and I'd make myself redundant, or we'd fail and I'd become redundant anyway.
Well, it looks like you're working towards the resource stage at Panuco.
It's the better of the two options. So it was when I went and visited Panuco. We're going to mix the stories. It's just such a compelling project that you have to work on it. And we've had the good fortune and good luck that we've got a good team down in Mexico. And as you said, it's working very well.
But then while you're leading that team as VPX at Panuco, you also have a private company. You're very familiar with Mexico. So you had been gathering together a portfolio of Mexican assets for some time, but that was in a private deal. And then Redstar came to you with this, with a proposition to bring your assets together. And their Unga project was enticing enough that you wanted to do that at the same time.
Exactly. So, there's two things. One is you need a lot of opportunities before any one of those will work in a technical sense. And the other sense, when you're starting a company, the worst thing you can do is put a lot of salaries on that company. So it is common in this business to try and build things in the background and then wait for their moment. And so that moment did come. We were looking for an advanced gold project. We started early last year, sort of before precious metals came back into vogue. And we saw a few opportunities and that did or didn't work technically, and then the ones that worked technically didn't work financially until we started talking with Jacques Vaillancourt at Redstar, and both companies had a mutual need. And so Redstar acquired Heliodor, and I've come across as the CEO. So I think we'll move to talking about the project, but it's a really exciting project.
So yeah, what is it? I mean, you talked about this obviously in your presentation, that was the focus, but the takeaway, if I was going to summarize Unga in sort of a short snippet, is that there's 4 targets at Unga, each of which most geologists would be excited to explore on its own, and yet you have 4 of them on the table.
Yeah, it's I think the real exciting thing about Unga is it almost got lost for 35 years. The first 10 or 15 of those from the early 90s was in an oil and gas company. And they had so much tax losses in the company that they weren't interested in a deal. And then it got into Redstar's hands, who were focused in the Red Lake district in Ontario, which everyone sort of knows as the quality of that. And it was a secondary asset. And it wasn't until maybe the last sort of 5 to 7 years that Redstar got it, but by then they'd lost a bit of impetus. The share structure was on the wrong side of the ledger, and so reinvigorating it really explains why you can have such a good project with so little work for such a period of time. And that's what's really exciting. You've got resources with really high-grade open intersections. You've got old mines that are open at depth. You've got targets, and they're just four of a number that are on the project, but those four are our first four. And so what I love is grade first and foremost. The resource is 13.8 grams. That's a hell of a starting point. The second part of that is this could be much, much bigger based on those targets. And it's very rare that you get these opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, then Capture right now, just if people are interested in this story, you've come to trade, the sort of the corporate finagling is done, and the next news that should come out is results because you're in the field and you have drills turning.
Correct. As we mentioned in the presentation, there's the exchange signing off on the effective date, which will be in the coming days. So then we'll trade as Heliostar Metals, having changed over from Redstar, the legacy name. And then, we've got our first rocks first drill samples at the lab. We've got 3 rigs turning. We're testing those targets, and in mid-November, I think we'll be very excited to share that news.
Well, there's certainly other companies out there exploring high-grade gold projects in Alaska that are getting good attention and are, performing well in the market. And Heliostar, the Unga project, has a lot of that opportunity, or at least that's the way it looks to me.
And to me.
Fantastic. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for taking the time for a little extra conversation, and look forward to keeping up with Heliostar as this new venture takes flight.
Thank you very much, Gwen.